A cracked windshield?
Rusty rockers?
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? Did we yet again make another poor decision? That's for you to help us find out.
Hey guys, welcome to JB's Garage. Today we have a 1980 something Ford F250. We don't know because we haven't gotten the title yet. So this one we actually got for free, technically for free. We did a whole bunch of landscaping work and he gave the truck to us for our labor. So we haven't spent any money on it, which is really nice. What's not so nice is the truck itself. We will take you on a walk around and show you what we're looking at here. It's a pretty good one. All right, so first we have this glorious paint job. Couldn't ask for anything better. Amazing, what do I call that, patina? Yeah, love it. You know, very dry rotted tires. Those kind of exist. For whenever you need that structural support, for whatever you're hauling, that's gonna help. Don't mind the bed and the cab moving in different ways whenever you pull on it. Structurally sound, very much so. But it does have the personality here, as you can see. Previous owner was a man of opinions.
Or maybe not so much of a man as we thought.
Now we have a slight inkling that this was used as a work truck. This is our evidence. It may or may not have been used as a work truck in its past life. And yeah, let's keep going a little further here. You know, that's honestly I don't even know what that is. Passing inspection like 10 years ago, that's what that was. Yeah, so here's the interior. Seems somewhat intact except for the destroyed windshield here. That's
Unfortunately, that needs replaced because it's in the peripheral. We have a very nice dash.
Mint. Mint.
No radio, so that's unfortunate.
You know, one thing that's not going to break, 4-speed manual.
Yeah, it's about the only selling point this truck has.
Yeah. Electrical tape is a nice touch. Has keys in the ignition, which you can leave those in there for as long as you want. Nobody's going to try to steal this. And yeah, so we will get the hood popped and see what we've got under there. We don't have a ton of information on this truck other than what might be wrong with it.
It's only been here like 2 years or something.
It's been here 3 to 4. It has not run in about 1.5 years as far as we know. Which is shocking. Looks like it hasn't run in about 2 decades. But the previous people who worked on it thought it had a spark issue, so they disconnected the coil and everything. I'm sure this chewed wire here is definitely helping a lot. So we are going to start on that, making sure it has spark. Today, that's really all we want to do, is see if it has spark and see if it'll fire. We're also told it's out of gas, which hopefully it is, and it hasn't had gas sitting in it for years. So, guess we'll get into it.
Alright, so we're going to take the error system box thing off of here so we have a little bit better access to the distributor and this thing. And we should check the air box anyways, because
You'll have to take the clips off your side.
We don't know how long it's been sitting. Ugh. It's also extremely cold out today. Okay, it's
a toasty 27 degrees.
We still have a hose over here. Just need a flathead or a 8mm, I guess. You're using the Mercedes as a workstation?
That's about all it's good for.
Interesting way to plug something. Just rubber hose and then a bolt in the end with a clamp. Wow, okay, it's broken. Are you serious? It just broke when I touched it. Okay. Well, I guess it used to work. Get this hose off and then we can have access to that. Man, everything is just so crusty. This old smog pump right here is completely seized. Can't even move it. Alternator's down there. No telling if that's still okay.
That's why you just crank on it, break it free.
Yeah. Those belts look old. His battery, he told us the battery was relatively new. That's 7 years old. I don't think that's relatively new.
This part this truck has on it. We're not cavemen. Maybe we are.
Oh, that looks nice.
Oh, yeah.
Mm. She looking nice in there.
Is there anything holding it on that side? This is like an 8mm.
There's a clip. We can't. Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, that's special. Yes, that whole thing is coming out.
So I see it, Jacob. There's it looks like a 12mm bolt holding it right in here, and there's also a clip. Oh, that's not even really attached right there. It just It just came off and. Okay.
12mm on that side. That's the oil grease.
Yeah, I know. It just fell out. I barely pulled on it. It is a very cold January morning.
Doesn't it look like this 8mm whatever is holding in as well?
Yes. This comes
Really? That looks like it's bolted in. Screwed in. Hold on.
I'm trying to get it past here.
Is it,
There. Just doing that. Just get out of our way. What the frick?
probably best not to ask.
Why?
It's not for us to ask why.
Seemingly, most of the battle seems to be taking 2 volts out of the airbox.
Also, the coil wire, which is laying here on top of the fan guard, I guess it'll stay there. But I don't think we said, this thing is well, according to the sticker here, it's a 302, so the 5-liter V8, and a 4-speed manual 2-wheel drive, which is the weirdest combination I've ever heard of in an F250, assuming this isn't a real F250.
We're not even sure it is a real F250 because it looks like somebody just ripped off the old logo and then decided to put an F250 logo there, so we're not sure. I mean, the other side has an F250 logo as well. Again, maybe that's original, not sure, because this is also a different logo than the other side, so we don't know. Okay. I can let you up.
That's like 3/4 full. Nice.
Okay, so now that we have access to all this, I mean, I do want to fix this first, where either a mouse chewed on it or someone wasn't careful enough with a knife or something. That could be causing a short. So I'm gonna fix this wire. We'll plug that back in. We'll plug this back into the distributor, and then we'll test and see if we have any sort of electrical current whatsoever. But obviously the step after that, if we don't, we'll check all the fuses first, because that could very well be a problem. So I'm gonna get the electrical kit and we'll work on that quick. All right guys, I went ahead and just patched this wire quick. Didn't really think it was important to record that, but we're gonna go ahead and plug this guy back in down here. And then the coil wire, which was tossed around randomly everywhere. Each end is the same, I guess. We're just gonna see if we get anything here. Don't think that the slashed wire was helping anything, but then again, make sure all these are tight. Why did that one just pop and click when I pushed on it?
Because it wasn't tight.
Okay, so now I'll have Jacob go in and see if it has any power.
And it is completely dead. We've got no lights of any kind on. Well, luckily we are partnering with Auxito, a jump starter, and we will show you how to use it and what all features it comes with, because these are actually really cool and we are really excited to actually try this out.
Auxito is originally a car light manufacturing company that worked on making better quality lights for vehicles. In 2024, they expanded their horizons and started making high-quality emergency jump starters for all vehicles. This specific Auxito T3 6000 amp jump starter comes equipped with a carrying case, heavy-duty clamps, a port to charge your phone or other devices on, as well as a 1000 lumen flashlight. With an easily accessible USB port, you can charge it anywhere at any time. It has over 10 built-in safety protocols such as reverse polarity, overcurrent, overcharge protection, overheating protection, spark-proof protection, and more.
Lamps are actually pretty strong. Alright.
So I would imagine you hit start for it to give it power. Maybe? Oh, it says ready. So I guess we have power?
Alright.
I heard something click.
Have power of some kind. Something clicked and snapped, so something was clicking and snapping, so we do have power. It just goes straight to the floor.
Oh! Okay.
So we have power.
Let me go up to the engine bay. We'll see. So we got this Auxito on here. Go ahead and crank again. Okay. So we know that this is working. So I'm gonna stop this for now. All right, actually super shocked that this thing was turning over a V8, but I'm gonna turn it back on, Jacob. Starting it. I'm gonna put this on the wire and see if we're getting anything. So crank. If you could hold it a little bit longer. Okay, I didn't get anything there. So I think what we're gonna do is check all the fuses and make sure the fuses are good, and then we'll go from there. We are down 30% on this, and this is giving a temperature warning, but honestly shocked that it's cranking over a V8 that fast for that tiny of a jump box. It's actually pretty impressive. Alright guys, at this point, we obviously haven't been using it for its intended purpose, which would be like starting your dead car on a cold morning or something. We've been cranking and cranking and cranking and cranking with it over and over and over. Now, this was the lower end model that they sent us. They sell another model that has a little bit more power, which probably would have did better for a V8. Regardless, we were still very impressed that it was cranking over this V8 like, what, 10, 12 times before the battery got down low enough. Around 40%, the jump box would say low battery and not let you really jump anymore, which is kind of weird. But other than that, it did absolutely amazing. If you're looking for one that's easy access and easy to charge and just to keep in your car in an emergency, I'd highly recommend getting one. They're like $100 or so, so it's not crazy expensive, but it's still well worth the money if you're just looking for something to get you out of a sticky situation. So we will have the links down below for you guys if you want to buy one or buy one that's slightly better.
So Ben is trying to find tools right now. Figured I'd just share with you guys a couple more things about the body of the truck. Just casually have daylight through 2 giant holes in the bumper. We have 2 out of 4 hubcaps, I believe. Yeah, we have the rear too. This one's crunched in. And cab corners are actually a little bit intact. And then you get to the interior of the passenger side, and there's just nothing here. absolutely nothing along the inner rocker inside of the floor. Yeah, it's just nothing there. But it's got the factory ankle vents there. And hey, the crank windows, I was gonna say they work, but this one barely works. Just gonna put that back up there. Is this, oh, that's a really dumb design. Ford, why would you do that? I thought Dodge had a dumb design. This might be an 86. Because the owner's guide says 1986 on it. Yeah, it might be an 86. Close enough.
The way it works is the power is coming into the coil from this plug, and then goes into the coil, and the coil then puts it to the distributor, and the distributor puts it towards the spark plug.
Were we getting anything to the coil?
I wasn't able to check that. Like
the odometer says 25,000. I'm thinking that's about 425,000. But yeah. I don't know. We're just kind of two monkeys throwing tools at something because we don't know exactly what we're doing with this ignition system or where to start troubleshooting. Alright, so we got some pretty inconclusive results from trying to test for current, and we didn't bring our other tester with us. So what we're going to do is we are going to wrap up here for now, and then we're going to bring back a new coil. Now, this one we think could be the problem. You know, lots of corrosion in there, plus it looks like it's getting kind of puffy in there. I don't know, looks like it's starting to swell up. So thinking this could be the problem, plus this is really nasty and crusty. So we're gonna come back with a new one of these, and any other parts, obviously like air filter or whatever, that we think we'll probably need, and we'll come back with that and see if we get any spark and with the proper tester.
Alright, so Ken had his light tester here. We don't have one of these yet because we're retarded and we don't do electrical diagnosis. So he's showing us here the reason why we know this coil is bad. So we have it hooked up to power, the key is turned. So coming in one side of the coil, you'll see that we have 14 volts. But if I go to the other side, we're not getting anything, which would be the flow through the coil. So since we know we're not getting current through the coil, we know that the coil's bad, even though it already kind of looks bad. So that's one issue solved. So we're going to go ahead and buy a new coil for this and then see if we have spark after that. Alright guys, it is another day. We got our new ignition coil, so we're going to go ahead and install that in the truck and see if we hopefully have spark now. Hopefully it's not another wild goose chase of chasing issues. So we're going to go ahead and get this guy popped in and see what we got. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just put the 2 bolts in here and reinstall it. We don't really feel like hooking it up and trying to test it like loosely, so we're just putting these back in. Guy here.
This is our setup here. Expert way to transport tools. Hope nothing flies out.
Alright, so we're going to hook up our Auxedo jump box again. Okay, so we now have power. So I'm going to get the tester ready here. Jacob's going to turn the key.
If it starts, we'll
yeah, if it starts, I'll probably have him shut it off again quick. I'd say we have spark. My tester just... Hold on. Do it again. Okay. We obviously have spark because it tried to fire. I'm gonna turn this thing off.
We might want to top off the oil before we actually start.
That was going to be my next
okay.
thing. So we're going to check the oil. We do want to check the brake fluid quick.
And clutch master cylinder fluid.
And I'm just going to make sure that there's nothing preventing... I just want to make sure there's nothing loose hanging in here anywhere. It's going to get like chopped in half or hit on something. So, let's go ahead and check the oil here if you want to pull it out. I don't think... Did we bring a... That thing sounded so rough. I also don't know why this random broken clip's hanging back here.
So, there is oil present, but how much do we have? How full is it supposed to be? It's about 2/3. So we do need...
You can add a dollop.
About a quart. You can probably add half a quart. That would be yeah, half a quart.
Does this really just sit like that?
It's tight.
What's tight?
Power steering.
Oh. Oh, wait. Pop it up. Oh.
Oh.
Why does it look like there's nothing in it?
Maybe there's nothing in it.
Just straight up.
Yep.
Pop the... There you go.
Because there's nothing in it.
There's nothing in the power steering fluid. Okay.
We have 1 quart of power steering fluid that we brought, so
I'll grab that.
Power steering
With leak stop!
It's usually not something we have to worry about fluid-wise.
But it sure does help.
I mean, it doesn't really matter how well the power steering works, we just don't want to blow the pump up. Why does that not look like power steering fluid?
Power steering fluid always looks like oil.
It smells like power steering fluid. Why is it not?
I don't know, those Ford power steering caps are really gay, so...
Sure, it looks good to me.
Thank you.
Need a little guidance.
I need a dipstick to help me put this dipstick in. We will have to address this thing before it...
Have to? Nice.
We could just, put an actual cap on it. Oh, that's nice. Wow. She tight, boy.
It's not crusty and not corroded.
I don't see any fluid sitting in there, though, so that's kind of concerning.
We have fluid, so we'll put some in.
The funnel's right there. I'll grab it.
Well, I have no clue what fluid this is. This is some sort of antifreeze from like the 70s. Unopened, that's good. You have your knife. I do not have my knife.
Just use this to poke it.
That works. Is that concentrate?
Antifreeze coolant, 5-year. I mean, it might be. It says 5/150. I'm not sure what that means.
5-year, 150,000
50,000 miles. It doesn't say if it's concentrate on the front or not.
It looks like concentrate.
Orange coolant?
Or red of some kind.
I think it's... How much did you put in so far?
Like a third.
I guess we can go with that for now, since it seems like it's...
taking a while to go down.
Yeah, we'll go with that for now. Got the brake fluid. Nice. Gotta love those old... Oh, man, I wonder why we didn't have brake pressure.
At least we might have brakes on one side.
Yeah. Alright, so let's... Ew! Is that, like, just gunk?
Sludge, yes,
nice.
that is sludge.
Rag right there, I would try to wipe up some of that out.
Yes, probably gonna need a master cylinder.
Also, not sure why there's just a random, like, loudspeaker or something mounted in here. I don't know why it's in here. It is. Oh yeah. It's looking real nice.
Rusty.
She mint, boy. This hood is just so gnarly, bro.
I honestly didn't see
so
this
gnarly.
right here. Did not notice that.
Won't snap off your finger. Okay, so oil, brake fluid, which we'll address in a bit because we need to get some coolant. You said like half a quart. Probably like... That was like half a quart, Jacob.
Okay.
That I just put in.
Yeah.
I guess we're ready to try to start it again.
I guess.
Alright, turn this bad boy on. So Auxito jump box, hit start. Go ahead and try her. Alright. I think it's working fuel up.
I think the throttle's stuck. Why are the, look at the plates in there, why are they wide open?
Because they were stuck open. I don't know.
Okay, let's take the top cover off here and hit it with some WD-40. Because it's not good, if it starts, it's gonna blow itself up.
How does this, is it just, oh, it's just these two. They might be the same size as what we used.
Yeah, they should be. If the throttle isn't wide open, it might start.
The choke might engage?
Something might happen. Other than hello.
Okay, we'll leave that off for now.
Oh, that is. Uh-huh. Look at that.
Oh, it's just...
I think it's gummed up inside, too.
I mean...
Yeah, might as well.
Lord almighty.
Spray this again. Well, you have to keep working it till it actually functions correctly.
Alright. Go feel how the pedal feels.
And tell me how it responds out here.
It's fully returning. Okay. Alright, do you want to try starting it again? Alright, let me turn on the power box. Alright, trying again with the Auxito power... or jump box. Alright, go ahead. Alright.
Remember the clutch? Feels like AIDS? If the clutch is partially engaged, it's gonna... And I'm hearing grinding noises from right here. So maybe we should check the clutch fluid.
Way to go, Slick.
It's just sludge in there.
Of course.
That's about all that's in there.
Nice.
So explain why the clutch isn't working, and I'd say that might be why it's making those terrible noises. So...
Alright, we're gonna get some brake fluid and then get back to you guys, I guess. Alright, we got some brake fluid. He's gonna fill the clutch master cylinder, and we'll fill the brake fluid reservoir as well. It's gonna suck if we have to bleed that. Hopefully it just needs fill. This is gay. Why would they have...
It's gonna be bled. It's completely out. It's bone dry.
Nuh-uh.
My question is, why is it bone dry?
I mean, if nobody ever put fluids in for 10 years. Oh, it still works. It doesn't need anything. Is it good?
Yeah.
Ew, it looks like mystery soup.
Yay!
Right.
For now. Brakes are optional, a clutch really isn't, so save the fluid for the clutch.
Alright. I think it's a fuel issue, honestly. Try again. As soon as it fires, I'll try.
I don't think I got some in. Yeah. Is that you?
I have no idea.
Bruh. Did you turn the key off? I stopped feeding it.
I don't know what the key is doing. This ignition lock cylinder is so busted and destroyed that I don't know what position is doing what.
Okay. Can you try starting it again? I stopped. I only spritzed it like 4 times and then it was running on its own. It's obviously a fuel issue. Earlier when I fed it like 2-3 times, or well, like 4 or 5 times, I'd spritz, wait, it was idling perfectly fine, and then I stopped, it was running maybe 15 seconds, and then it just died, and I guess, so you're not sure if the key is just kicking back or killing it or not?
I have no idea. It did say it had 3/4 of a tank of gas, if that's remotely correct, but...
Clogged fuel filter, question mark?
That's a very decent possibility.
We got this hooked up now, see if we can get started. So Ken was helping us start it here. We hooked up his jumper box to his car over there, and Jacob cranked it over and it fired. And now he's holding the throttle open, and there's a whole bunch of white smoke coming out over here. I would have been recording when my GoPro died. Like that is... It has got some nasty junk in there. That's really white smoke. So once this idles down a little bit, I'm gonna swap batteries in the GoPro and then we'll show you guys what's going on. Fortunately, I didn't catch it on camera, but he revved it and all this mouse nest blew out of the exhaust over here. And it smells like burnt mouse nest. It all blew out of the exhaust right there. Alright, I'm recording on my phone again because the GoPro's still dead. So it is idling now. There was just a bunch of crap built up in the intake, and all that mouse nest out there blew out of the exhaust system. So we're kind of assuming that that's what was keeping it from running. Right now it seems to be idling okay, which is kind of a miracle. We do have an air leak here on this one hose that we're going to fix. I'm going to go ahead and swap the GoPro batteries and then start recording again on that. All right, back on the GoPro. They're just kind of diagnosing the clutch right now. Let's see what's going on with that.
So, no clutch right now.
No clutch.
Man, I thought it was out of gas.
I mean, it says what?
3/4
of a tank? Is that what it says?
Nice heater in there.
Huh?
Got a nice
Yeah.
heater in there.
Got corn in it now.
Yeah, we put some in.
I poured even more in once he opened it again,
so
and he had the cap off so it bled it until it shot corn everywhere. Alright, so it looks like we're going to have to bleed the clutch master cylinder in order to get the clutch working so we can drive it. So once we have this shut off and we're ready to do that, we'll touch base with you guys.
Alright, we have some excellent news. Clutch isn't working. We haven't really looked at that. The starter just went out, so that's nice. It just sounds like nails in a washing machine. So we'll be back next weekend to either put in a new starter or one that Ken happens to have around. At this point, as long as we get one that works, we don't really care. But yeah, we have to get it, starting and running.
Hey guys, we are back. It is another weekend. We got our new starter here, so we're going to go ahead and try to get that in here, weather permitting. If it starts pouring down rain, we're going to pull this into his garage bay so we can work on it in there. But for now, I'm going to be laying out a tarp on the ground and trying to pull out an old starter. So that'll be fun. You'll get to watch me struggle with that, and Jacob will probably be working on some stuff under the hood. So we'll get right to it here.
Alright guys, here is the starter. I am under the truck on a tarp because the ground's wet. So I'm going to go ahead and get a ratchet in the size I need for these 2 bolts in here and take off this tiny 8mm bolt here. And then this bad boy should come out.
Alright, I forgot it was Ford and it's the freaking 80s, so it was standard. Ugh. I'll just
just knocked dirt in my eye. That's nice. All right, we're gonna see if this is 1/2 inch here. Hey, I was correct. Oh, why was that bolt so loose? What the frick? Duh, the top bolt is loose. It's not even snug. What the heck? Okay. Whoa, that's freaking heavy. Holy frick. All right, now I got it out so you can show the camera, start recording out there how it looks. I didn't look at it yet.
Ben just handed me the starter from underneath. First of all, we have like half the teeth. Second of all, yeah, that's normal. There's, not sure if you can see in there, there's just bearings floating around in there.
Ooh, the freaking flywheel in here. There's definitely some wear on it. I can see that. I don't know if you guys can see. It's kind of dark in here. There is some wear on those teeth. It doesn't look really bad, but it's not great.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and install the new starter here. I'm gonna need both hands, so I'm gonna try to lay my phone
So that's what teeth are supposed to look like on a starter.
Whoa! This thing's freaking heavier than the old one. Ugh. Good lord. Okay, I got it in. I need the second bolt I handed you.
All right, new starter is installed. Bolt number 1, bolt number 2, and the little guy up here. And it's a lot tighter than it was when I took it out, so we're good here. I'm gonna go back up top.
All right, we're getting the battery installed, and we're gonna see if we can get this thing to crank over. What?
It's the ignition lock cylinder.
He says the ignition lock cylinder keeps shutting the truck off.
Try it again.
Oh, he said to try it again. You said the key was causing it to shut off?
Yep. The normal resting position is off. I have to, so it goes off, sort of on position, and then starts.
So it doesn't stay on.
Correct. I had to wiggle with it after
so now it's
starting it.
where it's supposed to be, but
So yes, I was able to get it to start and then manually back it off a tad bit from start.
all right. So it's running right now. Ben's gonna move his truck out of his garage bay and let us push this in so we can work on the clutch and fixing a few things up here after we shut it back off, which will be nice because then we won't be working in the rain. So we'll touch base with you guys once we shove it in there, and maybe we'll record us shoving it in.
He got it in gear. Bruh. I guess that works. Alright, we got it in the garage. So next is going to be the ignition switch. We're going to see if we can adjust the throw on that. See if we can keep it from turning itself off whenever it feels like it. And also we're going to try to bleed the slave cylinder on the clutch. The fluid level hasn't moved here. We're not sure if the cylinder here is bad or if something down there isn't happening, but we do have a new one ordered in case we do need it, so that should be coming in this afternoon, but try to work with what we got here.
All right, it's kind of dark in here, unfortunately, but Jacob's trying to take off this connector that's broke off. Jacob's trying to replace this rubber line right here because we don't know if there's a vacuum leak or what's going on. And then we're going to get the air box back on and see about putting some fuel injector cleaner in and maybe some more gas to clean the truck out. I might do some filming on my phone because it's better with like the dark lighting in here.
All right, the lighting is so much better on my phone. Holy crap! Trying to get that broken off connector over there.
I don't know why I put them junk things on.
Oh,
Home
nice. Cool. Oh, so under ours.
Hours.
Oh, I got a pretty good eye then.
All right, so Jacob got that line on.
Trying to
up in
figure
there.
out a way
So
to get the clamps tightened. 'Cause everything's
Ken's getting a
set.
tool so we can tighten those clamps better. I guess next we could get the air box. No, we'll leave the air box off till we bleed the clutch master cylinders. We'll probably do that next. All right, Ken for some reason hasn't trusted us to be alone in his shop. So we are going to go ahead and bleed the clutch master cylinder. Jacob will be on cab duty. I guess I'll be crawling under there with line wrenches. So I will get situated under there and then start filming, and I guess he can be up here with the other GoPro in case something happens. I don't know. Okay, so we're kind of new to this system. Apparently these are ones that don't have like a line wrench screw on the end that you just crack to bleed. For some reason we can't find the Allen screw on this master cylinder. We're not sure if there isn't supposed to be one, but we cannot find one on here. We did find the one on the slave cylinder down there, so we're gonna go ahead and try bleeding that. Apparently this is a very painful process to do on these types of systems for these Fords, so this is gonna be freaking fun. All right guys, I'm gonna be bleeding this down here. I'm gonna let Jacob record up in the cab, because I'm not gonna be able to hold the camera and do this at the same time. But the Allen screw is on the back here, on the bottom of this slave cylinder.
Let me pump it. Okay, go ahead, crack it.
Oh, I got sprayed in the face with what seems like poop juice.
Well, the clutch didn't come back.
It didn't come back?
No, I had to pull it back.
All right, guys, so update here. So we realized this is a different system than we were used to, like I had mentioned before. So we went out and bought the proper tool we need to bleed this system quickly and professionally. So we're going to be replacing the clutch master cylinder, mainly because this one is disgusting and caked full of dirt, and it's just nasty as a whole.
We don't think it's working.
We don't really
because
think
we
it's
can't
working
get pressure,
properly either,
and the
so.
fluid level isn't changing when we're bleeding it, so we're thinking it's not even cycling fluid through it.
Yeah, so we're just gonna replace it. Obviously, clutch master cylinder is super easy to do. There's 2 bolts back in here that we take out, and then there's literally 1 rod with a pin on it that goes down to the clutch pedal. Super easy. So
Theoretically.
yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and replace the clutch master cylinder quick, and then we'll get back to you guys when we are bleeding this, and we'll make a tutorial and show you guys how we do it so that it'll help other people as well. All right guys, we finally just got the new one in. That was a royal pain. I would show you where I was working up under there under the dash, but it was too dark for me to show you. There was these 2 tiny nuts that went into the back of the master cylinder that I had to take out, and then there was a pin back there with a rod coming out for this. So we're gonna go ahead and get the stuff ready to bleed this, and then we will show you the process for that. All right guys, we just got the new one installed like I just said. We put fluid in the reservoir. So this is the kit we're gonna be using that we had followed the tutorial online. This is the Mighty Vac Automotive Test and Bleed Kit. We picked this up at Harbor Freight for 55 bucks. The way it worked for the guy seems like it's gonna work for us, and we're definitely gonna be using this a lot if we're gonna keep buying old vehicles that are manuals. So, I'm gonna go ahead and open this up and put it together and then show you guys how to use it and what's going on. All right guys, so here I have this put together. So what we have here is the thin black tip on the end that you need to put on the one end that's gonna be going down in your cylinder into the hole to stop that hole. Then you have it coming into this cup that they give you. That's where the fluid and air will be pulled to. And then this comes straight up and just comes right onto the end of the gun. And then you have this pressure gauge here, which will be telling you if you have pressure or not. Now, on these types of systems, from what I understand, and the tutorial we watched, which we will link the other tutorial we went by below because they are very helpful, these lines go down over the frame and do a big loop. That's why you get air that's trapped in there. And a lot of the time in the slave cylinder, the way it's positioned, there's air that gets trapped in the top of the slave cylinder, and it's impossible to get that out. Apparently you can bleed and bleed and bleed the old-fashioned way with an Allen screw and having someone pump, and it just never works out. So, at least with this, from what we've seen, you take this, obviously make sure your reservoir is filled with brake fluid. You're gonna take your pointed end right here, and you're gonna shove that down into the cylinder, into the hole, if I can find it. Is it in the middle or towards the front?
Middle.
Oh, okay.
You feel it.
So now, what we're gonna be doing here, I think that's in. So you're gonna start pumping this, and it should start pulling any air out of the system out. So if you zoom in there on the line, see if it'll start pulling out any kind of air or fluid. I can see fluid starting to come up the line. Now, I don't know if you can see on the gauge here. The gauge is not moving, which means you do not have a vacuum leak in the system, and that's a good thing. So if that gauge is staying there, positioned where it's at, that means you don't have a vacuum leak. It means it's holding pressure. So I'm gonna keep pumping here. Obviously, yep, okay, so now it's pulling the fluid up. So now we should start getting some air. See those bubbles there? Coming up in the system?
Yep.
So that is air it's pulling out of the slave cylinder and the lines right now. So you want to keep going until you don't see any more air bubbles, or until it's at least relatively just fluid. You can see all those air bubbles that keep coming up. So right now the reservoir is still about half full. Now, I'm still pumping it right now. See how the air bubbles stopped. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take the line out, and it's gonna make that pressure suck the fluid back down in where the air pockets were. So I just pulled that out, and the whole system, see it just gurgled. Now look in the reservoir. See all the fluid that the reservoir just went down in there? It went down by about half. So all that air I just pulled out of the system is now down in the system.
Yep, and we only caught a tiny bit of it in the little catch can here, so most of that did go down.
What we're gonna do is top the cylinder off, put the cap on, and he's gonna feel the clutch and see how it feels. And if it works halfway, we'll do it again. If it feels great, then we won't do it again. So it's basically a process that you can repeat this until the clutch feels like it's properly working. So obviously it seems like this is working really well, so if you guys want to get this, it'd be a good thing to have around if you have an old Ford like this. So we will go ahead and see if we can get this to where it needs to be. Okay guys, we just finished using that tool to bleed the system. So Jacob is feeling the clutch now. And what would you say we have now?
About half a clutch, which is significantly better than it was to begin with. And I'd say it should work.
So we're going to drive it home with the clutch the way it is now. We can bleed it again later, but we're thinking if we drive it and use it a bunch, it might actually help get some more air out of the system anyways. So that's sort of fixed now. We're going to try working on the starter, or the ignition lock cylinder now, since it's sticking and being weird. So I'm going to see about taking the sheath off and maybe getting some more WD-40 in here to see if that fixes it. And if it doesn't, then we know it's out of alignment or there's something else going on. All right, so at least from what I'm seeing here, there's a screw here into that steering column, and then I think this whole sheath pops off. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this guy out and then see what we're working with in here.
So just looking under here, I got that sheath off and we were messing with that up there. We don't think it's the ignition lock cylinder. I just looked under here, and up in here, I don't know if you can see that plug right up in there. It's partially popped off of the socket, and when I touch it, you can hear the ignition clicking. So I think it's just partially off and I need to push it back on. So I'm gonna try doing that.
Ben showed you guys that plug up in there. It works whenever you press down on the plug manually. And it seems to make the key actually do what it's supposed to do. So we are going to be using a zip tie here. I'm gonna try to get my tiny raccoon hands up in there and get it zip tied down against the column and see if we can jerry-rig this thing to work for the drive home till we can figure out what's actually broken up there. And as in temporary fix, I mean, as long as it works, we'll probably keep it that way.
The key appears to be fully fixed. It's actually staying in the on position now since we put that plug down with the zip tie. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if this will start. Wow, that was really surprising. It's in neutral, it just made a weird thunking noise when I took the clutch off. That power steering is cool.
Probably needs some more fluid.
They feel pretty good, honestly.
Okay, we'll check the fluid again. All right, we'll put some more brake fluid in it.
We could probably put the air box back on too.
Yeah, let's put the air box back on.
All right, I'll go ahead and shut her off. We'll check the brake fluid and get the air box back on and then see what she's got, I guess. All right, Jacob just checked the reservoir. It didn't really go down any. So we're gonna go ahead and stick the air box back on and then try to back it out of the garage here and see if we got any working brakes at all, because we don't really feel like bleeding the brakes
Do we still
here.
have power steering fluid with us?
Yes.
Okay, then I want to check that before we put the air box back in where we have good access.
All right, Ken's gonna back it out for us because there's collateral back here and it's his yard. So if the brakes don't work, it'll be his fault. So we're gonna wait for him to back it out and then we'll be leaving here. Well, the brakes work. Brakes work. Nice. All right, Ken and Jacob just took the truck on a test run. They were just driving down the road like half a mile and turning around, coming back just to make sure it doesn't explode or do something horrible. And then we're gonna drive it back. So I'm just waiting here for them to get back. And here they are, they just got back. Man, they did a big loop. I thought you broke down. Yeah, help.
Not yet.
Didn't break down?
No, not yet.
Oh, it smells like mouse in there.
It does, really bad.
How'd it do?
It did.
Okay. Just beginning to think you broke down as long as it took.
Yeah.
So, all right, I guess we'll get ready to head out here, huh? All right, Jacob's gonna get ready to drive it back to the halfway point. We got the GoPro set up in there, so hopefully that'll kind of give you guys a perspective as to what he's going through in terms of hell. So I'm gonna go ahead and follow him back here. All right, he's backing up to head out of here.
Okay, clutch is a little touchy.
It's so hilarious that the truck's sitting at a freaking angle. I don't know if you can see that. It's tilting to the right. It's so retarded, but it's amazing.
Alright, now let's give it a time as any.
Driving a manual and filming at the same time is not easy, let me tell you.
No parking brakes, so we'll have to swap pretty quick.
Oh god, the cab smells awful.
Yeah, it does. Janky as crap. Take it higher in the gear than you think you should, because the next gear is pretty far away.
Okay.
Yeah, don't use first, and don't hit the brakes hard.
Okay, because they lock up.
It'll lock up.
I'll wait till you're ready. All right, now it's my turn.
I've driven some janky crap before, but that has to, you know, has to take the cake. He's definitely going to stall it out like I did.
Why are you... Come on. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, he'll figure it out.
This is so janky.
A little too scared to get closer, so I think I'm just gonna chill back here.
Doesn't want to go in fourth. There we go. All right. Yeah.
Being a 4-speed, it really doesn't mind getting up to speed, because you're shifting into fourth at like 35, or yeah, 30 or 35. You're shifting into top gear, but it doesn't mind going 55, 60.
Dude, this thing is so janky. I love it. It's so terrible. It's so freaking terrible. She's got the power though. She definitely has the power. Let Jacob drive a little bit. Alrighty, Jacob is going to finish the rest of the drive back, and then we want to try to do a burnout when we get back, so I'll touch base with you guys then when we get back. Alright, so Jacob is going to do a burnout. We are replacing the tires anyways because they're all dry rotted and destroyed, so there's no traffic, so he's going to go ahead and try to do a burnout quick.
I'm not going to be able to do a proper burnout because we mainly have rear brakes. Our front brakes aren't really doing much of anything, so I'm just going to have to rev it and dump the clutch.
Okay.
Which hopefully survives. Well,
all right.
See.
Go ahead. There's nobody coming. Well, that was lame. What do you expect from us? All right, we just got back alive somehow. Looking pretty sexy and crappy. So, your thoughts on your success?
It wasn't really a success. First of all, that was a poor excuse for a burnout, but you know.
Does this thing like just not have any power, pretty much?
Between that, the clutch being super weird and snappy, and also having absolutely no power, yeah, that might have something to do with it. Temperature stayed right in the middle to just below the middle of the gauge. They're dummy gauges, they don't actually give you numbers, but it stayed where it was supposed to be. Oil pressure is less than we started with, but still present, so call that a win. Fuel went from 3/4 of a tank to half a tank, but made it back in one piece. The truck was already in multiple pieces, so I guess we're about in the same shape as we were before.
Bro, what was... I hear fluid. Oh, that's nice. Oh, looks like a coolant leak, yeah. Okay. We'll deal with that later. Something metal back here was going thwack every time. No, it was something metal sounding, like right in here was like thwack, thwack. Yeah, every time I was driving. Too. Is there something back there? You know what? Well, maybe it was that. It could have been. Is it a spray paint can?
It is, but I doubt this was making that much noise. It was shoved under the seat.
Well, one problem at a time, right?
I can see daylight through the cab corner and the floor there.
Pop the hood. I guess we'll see where it's leaking from while it's present. So it appears to be leaking from right here. I guess we didn't tighten that enough. We still have to do spark plugs and an oil change and some other general maintenance that was never done for like 20 years. We're not really sure what plans we have for this hunk of junk, but it's absolutely amazing. It's a 4-speed piece of trash. So it's so ugly. Gotta get some new/used tires. That's gonna be it for this weekend. Next weekend we'll probably start on some of the other stuff we won't want to work on. So catch you guys later. All right, it is just me today. Jacob picked up some used tires for this truck that basically aren't as badly dry rotted or as bald as these ones are. These ones literally look like they're about to explode from dry rot. So I'm going to be seeing if this hunk of junk will start and take it down there and take all 4 wheels off and take the tires in today to get them swapped on the rims. It's really freaking cold outside. So we're going to get those tires done, and then I'll be leaving the tires off the truck with it propped up because tomorrow we'll be working on the brakes on the rear and the front. So let's see if this hunk of junk starts. All right, neutral, clutch. Wow. It started right up. All right, I'm gonna let this thing warm up for 10 seconds and then move it down there quick. All right, I got this sort of positioned where I want it, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop off the only 2 hubcaps that it has and get this thing jacked up on the front and back. Obviously, this isn't at a very good angle, and this isn't safe. So, don't do what we're doing. my gosh! At least they weren't fused on there. Alright guys, we're back in another cold January day. So today we're going to be taking off the rear drum brakes and bleeding all the brakes, checking the whole brake system out because it wasn't really working. The rear brakes were locking up constantly when we were trying to drive it back, which wasn't very helpful. So we're going to pull these drums off and see what we're working with and see how horrible they are. Alright, I'm going to try to get this drum off. There's a whole lot of freaking rust just flaking off of this thing.
Good that it's not seized.
Holy frick.
I don't see, there's literal cobwebs in there.
Drums don't look necessarily amazing.
not.
Like, there's a giant gouge missing from the one drum.
That's from the outer edge. Not as important.
Oh look, it's cracked. You can see daylight through it right here. It's good enough.
Yeah.
So we're basically gonna
The shoes look fine.
spray a bunch of brake parts cleaner in here and call it a day. Alright, let that dry. We'll move on to the next one, I guess. I like how they come off perfectly. Now this drum's getting rusty, but it's at least not split in half, and there's no gouging on the inside.
This one's significantly better.
Ew.
Horseshoes and hand grenades.
Ow.
It dried knife roast.
So, if you want to try the parking brake just to see if it works, you can. And the cable's moved.
It appears to be engaged.
That's impressive. Apparently, Ken said he put on new calipers and pads a year ago. Granted, the pads do look relatively new. The calipers, maybe not a year ago, but they look okay-ish.
I mean, if the calipers and hardware weren't painted, then they would have just rusted over really fast, so.
The brake hoses look relatively new. So, alright, we're going to go ahead and bleed these quick, and then we'll probably throw the tires back on.
Some of the brakes might be new, but I'm thinking the dust shields might not have been replaced. Nor, like, anything else. The shocks, I don't know, the shocks might only be a couple years old. They're starting to get rusty. Body mount is, like, falling apart there.
So because this bleeder nipple back here, I guess, is partially stripped and really old, it's 9mm, and 3/8 is loose, and 10's way too big, so whenever you bleed the brakes on a vehicle, you always want to start from the farthest point away from the master cylinder, which would be the rear passenger side. Then you would go to the rear driver, then the passenger side front, and then the driver's side. Apparently it's the proper way to bleed it, so it's the way we try to do it. Not all the time, but that's the way you're supposed to do it. So Jacob's gonna go up there and pump a few times. I'm gonna see if let me see if it'll break free first. Ugh, okay, it feels like it broke free. A bunch of disgusting brown fluid came out. All right, time to move to the other side. Let's see if I can break it free. Oh man, this one shock is completely rusted through. Look at that. Just nothing left of that shock. Okay, I got it. I think I got it broke free. Either that or it's stripped. Nope, it was apparently stripping. So this bleeder nipple is stripped out, and I got my easy out set. We're gonna try to get it out and just replace the bleeder nipple because this is ridiculous. Just kind of like work it good. Obviously not sponsored, but this is the kit we use for our easy out. It comes with all these different like sets. And I've used them quite a bit because I'm notorious for breaking off bolts. So it's called Coobeast or something. So, but again, not sponsored. So we went ahead and we're replacing both bleeder nipples on the rear drums because the other one was actually stripping when I tried to take it back out. And I did get it out. So we're putting these in over here. All right, now we're ready to bleed this side finally. All right, on to the fronts. Okay, Tom, when you're ready. We actually just got a bunch of air. Okay, go. All right, move to the other side. I think at this point, this doesn't really matter if it's taken off. Let me break it free. Ah, over my jacket. Alright, all the brakes are bled, so now we're probably going to work on getting the tires back on. So at this point, you're probably wondering why there's no audio coming from the footage. Well, our GoPro decided to not record audio for the next, I don't know, 5 to 6 clips for some reason. So I'm going to be narrating what's happening because our retarded GoPro decided not to record audio. Please enjoy.
Here's that tire, Ben. Ugh, that's kind of heavy. My back hurts because I'm 29 years old. Bzz, 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 bzz. Here's that other tire, Ben. Oh, thanks. Got it. Bzz, 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 bzz. Hurt. Bzz, 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 bzz. Pretend this is the other front tire we're doing because we forgot to record us doing that. Bzz, 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 bzz. As you can see, guys, we got all 4 tires on, so I was doing some thinking and we need to clean the throttle body because it's disgusting. After struggling for 30 minutes trying to get off a stripped throttle body bolt, we decided to let sleeping dogs lie and clean it the best we could the way it was. Psst, psst. So now that the throttle body is clean, I'm gonna put some seafoam in the gas tank to help clean things out. Kerclunk. Thump. Kerclunk. So now we're gonna put some seafoam in the oil and run it for a while before we change the oil to help break any debris free internally.
So, I got up here to check what size spark plug socket I needed, and I reached down here, and I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and pull this off. It was already like this. It wasn't even attached to the spark plug. So that wasn't connected. That one's on. That one's on, that one's on. So, as far as we know so far, this was running off of 7 cylinders, not 8.
Yeah, so either it was arcing to the spark plug and somehow somewhat functioning, or it was just running off 7.
I don't even know what the other side looks like, so we'll see after we change these, but it idles like a dream.
Sound perfectly fine.
I'll probably need an extension, and I hope I can take these metal sheaths off, because that's awful. Alright. Number 1. I'm not exactly sure why there's a bunch of dirt and junk on the end of it, but
there is a lot of gunk on the end of the spark plug.
I pulled that straight out, I didn't drag it. Ooh yeah, look at that nice rust.
I thought we would have blown the cobwebs out of it. There's literally a cobweb in the end of the spark plug.
Those gaps look close enough to me. This is
If this truck was running off 7 cylinders, I'm pretty sure it'll appreciate new spark plugs rather than gap
spark plugs that are hooked up.
Yeah.
Wow, the valve cover, it's like hot, but
really?
Ouch! Frickin' razor sharp. Come hither. Come on! Gosh, get this freaking piece of garbage out of here. Ugh. Alright, we just got all 8 spark plugs in. We got the spark plug wires hooked back up properly. We think of 2 of them ended up breaking, and we had Ken fix them for us because we didn't know how to do that. So hopefully they work. I'm imagining that this might run a little bit better off of 8 cylinders.
Assuming we have the wires hooked up correctly.
Yeah, so he's going to start it and we'll see what it does here. And Alright, so we're just curious to see, before when we were revving it, it would kind of bog a little bit and then rev up. We're thinking maybe that's because it was running off the 7 cylinders. Are you doing something? What the frick is that? What am I hearing? I'm gonna try to find out what this is for a second. So that weird noise is coming from this thing where all these connectors are going in. Now I do see a very corroded wire right there. But I guess we'll mess around with these connections and see if we can get it to stop. So the sound mysteriously stopped. We're probably going to clean these connections at some point. But Jacob read it a little bit ago. So
I'm not saying this was the issue, but maybe this was having some connection issues with that giant wad of corrosion that's in there. So we're going to take some vinegar and clean that up and see if maybe the mysterious clicking sound stops. Alright, we just cleaned up all these connectors. They were the one was really bad with corrosion. It's running right now and there's no more weird clicking, zapping noise, so hopefully that was the issue. So we're going to let it run a bit just to make sure the sound's done. And then we'll probably be taking it on a test drive before we change the oil. Alright, we're going to take it on a test drive just to see how everything's working with the brakes and everything. Perfect day since it's snowing and icy. So, let's get going here. Oh my god, it smells awful. Ow, I hit my head on the top. Oh god, it smells atrocious in here.
Yep.
Ugh.
There's definitely a mouse
Safety
nest
first. Will the wiper blades work enough to wipe that smear off the windshield? Hey, it made it worse.
It did make it worse.
Oh, we're just spinning out. What the frick is that noise?
What is that? Okay, rear brakes still kind of lock up.
That's just past ABS.
Oh, come on.
Give her some gas, man.
I don't want to go fast. I just want to move.
I feel like I'm gonna die.
Oh, it won't let me take it out of gear.
Bruh.
Okay. It's out of gear now.
Guess we should leave the clutch again.
Yes. I had to jam the clutch into the floor as hard as it would go to let me take it out of gear.
I would be showing you guys what's going on out there, but you can't see anything.
Okay, maybe the shifting speeds that were suggested aren't too far off.
What was it, 10, 15, 25, 35?
Yeah. Other than the fact that you can't go over 5 mile an hour in first gear, the shifting speeds aren't too far off. The brakes work quite well, but the rear ones still lock up.
You're actually able to see behind us with the side mirrors now.
Kind of.
88 miles an hour.
Yeah. Seriously. You can take it on test drive?
The frick is banging? This is it, the highway to heaven.
The heaven? I think this is the highway to heaven.
Alrighty, I'm going to be changing the oil under here. Drain plug's right here. I somehow had the correct size when I yelled out what I needed, which is honestly not that common. It's actually coming out, which is impressive. The oil filter is way up in here, so that's going to be fun to get to. Let's go ahead and see what kind of delicious juice comes out of here. It's freaking cold out here. Okay. Oh no! It went past and got on the tarp. Ew. That's disgusting. It's so black and chunky. I guess give me a rag, please, so I can sop this up. Oh, that's real nice. I guess next I'm gonna get that filter off.
The old filter here actually came off by hand, which is crazy, but, auto extra. Uh-huh. Yeah, for sure. Yep. It's only, what do you think, 23 years since the last oil change?
Ooh.
Say yes. Just the way I like it. Thick and chunky.
Time to put the new stuff in.
It looked like you were about to put that.
That's what I was emphasizing.
Just because you're changing the oil doesn't mean you have to put new stuff in.
This is one we already had open that we left.
Well, that's gonna smoke like crazy.
Congratulations. I'm gonna add a secret potion. What's left of a secret potion anyways. Truck will be like, ugh.
Alright, oil change done. Currently, we're still having issues with the clutch, so we took the cap off the clutch master cylinder, and we had the pedal depressed, just like me. Hopefully it helps push some of the air out, like overnight or whatever. It doesn't make any sense, but it worked last time. It worked last time somehow. So I guess that'll be it for this weekend. We'll be back next weekend with a new episode.
So weather in PA has been pretty interesting lately. We're still dealing with an Arctic blast that's been coming through. As you can see, there's plenty of snow to go around. Whenever we went to move this thing like a week and a half ago, we found out that we just didn't have brakes. It was just going to the floor. And upon further inspection, the brake master cylinder was just leaking fluid out all over the place on top of the brake booster. So we're going to be taking the brake master cylinder off and replacing that, and also replacing the brake booster while we're in there. So we're going to get the snow cleared off this thing and then see if this hunk of junk starts so we can work on it in the 5-degree weather today.
Alright. Alrighty, so we just cleaned this hunk of junk off. It is currently 5 degrees out. Last time it was like 15 degrees we tried to start this. The battery didn't really want to. So we'll see what it does. It's been at least a week. Oh, and we had no brakes last time. And we're on a hill. That's fine. I think we have a part of a parking brake. Alright, we're in neutral. Clutch in. Let's prime it. Dang boy, 5-degree cold start. Yeah, we haven't been brave enough to crawl under it and figure out why the bed is sloped. We don't really want to know. Honestly, that is extremely impressive. That just shows you that this thing is definitely fuel injected. The carburetor would not have done that. And no chance. So once this thing is warmed up, we'll pull it down to the shop and get the brake master cylinder off. So we just casually started a fire here. If I hold up, not sure if you guys can see, but if I hold up my glove, I don't know if you guys can see that, but my glove is steaming. If I hold up my hand.
Looks like that one tire lost air again. I guess it has a leak. A little more. That's good. At least we're under the roof. Alright, so right now Jacob is taking the brake fluid out of the old one and putting it in here for now. Probably gonna film this in stages because it's so cold. I have to use my phone to record. The GoPro just keeps shutting off and saying that it's low battery even though the batteries are full. And I can tell even my phone doesn't like recording because it's not as responsive as it should be. So we'll probably just film this in stages of us just taking it off, getting the new one back on, taking the old brake booster off and such. All right, we just sprayed these nuts with some WD-40 to break that up. He's getting the line wrenches here. We're gonna be able to pop the brake lines off with. There we go. Oh. Yep. Oh wow, that one didn't take too much convincing. Oh, look at all the brake fluid oozing out from behind there. Yeah, I'd say it was leaking. Holy crap. Yeah, there's so much brake fluid there. Oh yeah, the whole thing's falling forward. Okay. Hey, that looks really bad. Holy frick. that is, wow.
Look at the sludge.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'd say that master cylinder was shot. Holy crap. Yeah, that's disgusting.
Also weighs like 42 pounds for some reason.
All right, well,
Solid steel.
I really hope the brake booster isn't compromised because of that. That's not good. All right, so after looking at this further, we cleaned this out and the rubber seal appears to be fine. It must not have been leaking for more than a few months, if maybe a year. But we're gonna take a wire brush, like a small brass wire brush, and clean out this whole interior and wire brush this whole outside area. And we're gonna paint all this just to make it look better. We really don't want to replace this brake booster if we don't have to, because they're expensive. For some reason, they're like twice as expensive as the master cylinders. It's literally just a steel drum with rubber seals. So we're gonna go ahead and clean this up, and then we'll get back to you guys.
All right, we wire brush this thing off. Still looks terrible, but better than it was. We're gonna paint it so it doesn't continue to rust, at least for a while. So we're seeing what paint we have that didn't freeze. Okay, don't slip and die on the concrete. It's kind of funny. Stuff like this, purple power, completely frozen. Like 50% of our fluids and cleaning products all froze. It's usually not 5 degrees for extended periods of time here, but yeah. So we did not use that. We're gonna see if we have any paints that survived. Cold.
All right, so we just heated this up with a blowtorch. It's still nice and warm, and we warmed up the can and shook it, so he's gonna start painting quick. We're just gonna do this really quick because it's cold out here. We need to try to heat this up again to get it to cure. All right, obviously this isn't optimal painting conditions, but we have this aimed in this area to keep this area warm so the paint can cure and dry. So we're gonna get 2 more coats on this before we take the tape off and then call it good. We're still gonna have to take this guy into Advance and find out which bore size it is, because apparently they used 2 different bore sizes whenever they did these trucks. Apparently the bigger bore size is for the truck that's over 8,500 pounds gross weight. So we'll get back with you guys whenever this thing's painted and we're ready to put the new master cylinder on, because we're actually going to paint the new master cylinder, considering they just come as bare steel. So we'll touch base with you guys then. All right, guys, we're back again. It's a week later. It's like I don't know what,
17 degrees.
17 degrees,
and
and
feel like is -10.
so
It's like 30-mile-an-hour winds.
We did get this brake booster repainted and cleaned up. It looks a lot better, and we did repaint the new brake master cylinder we got just so it doesn't rust instantaneously. So he's getting those 2 nuts back on, and then we're going to go ahead and bleed the master cylinder and get that ready, and then we'll see if we have working brakes. All right, we just bled this. Jacob's gonna and I hooked up the brake booster hose again. Jacob's gonna start it for, I guess, the first time in a week and a half and see if we have any working brakes. So we may have mentioned before how this was broken on the bottom. We spent 2 hours with a drill press drilling through this tempered steel, and we cut off a piece of a brake hose clip and drilled through it and put that on here. And now you can put it on here, and it locks in. I can't pull it out anymore. So instead of us paying like $60, $70 for a used one, because you can't get them new, we fixed it temporarily. We're gonna put some like sealant on the tip of this bolt where the nuts are, just so that there's no chance that they can just fall off in there. Jacob did make a point where this other piece was broken off in there, and we're wondering if it's
where did it go? We pulled that out and we're like, this one piece right here is broken. Oh no! And I looked at Ben. I'm like, where did it go? This part goes on the valve cover.
And we've been wondering what that ticking noise was. All right, guys, we just got the airbox hooked back up. This guy's firmly in here now, doesn't move and fall out. So Jacob's gonna go ahead and fire it up, and we're gonna back it out and make sure the brakes work. All right, guys, it's warmed up. I'm gonna check the brakes here, and they feel 100 times better than what they were before. Last time they went to the floor. We might bleed the brakes all around on the tires one more time to make sure there's no air in the system, but we're gonna back it out here and make sure the brakes work quick. All right, Jacob's gonna go ahead and back her up here, see if the brakes work. Oh yeah, parking brake.
I forgot that word.
There you go. And then just kind of pull it over there and see how the brakes work.
Why is the tree on fire?
Why in the frick is that tree on fire? What the frick? Oh, we're gonna take care of that quick.
Holy crap.
Didn't the fire extinguisher do it?
Not all of it. It was burning a lot more than that before we hit it with the fire extinguisher.
All right, so for those of you concerned, we got the fire out. I poured water all over it, then we packed it full of snow. Still have no idea how that freaking happened. We're just gonna go back to doing stuff on the truck, I guess.
All right, so this rack, I think it looks good. I like it on here, but it is such a piece of junk that it's a safety hazard at this point, so we're just going to get rid of it. Although it's not as difficult as you might think. That worked well. Alright, so you guys see how the bed's leading at an angle, and how I mentioned that earlier, that we were too afraid to check what it was? We finally found the courage to check.
So if you look over here, you'll notice that it looks like there's some leaf springs missing. That's because there are. The other side has its leaf springs. This side, they all just rusted and broke off. So that's why the bed's just leaning. Okay then.
So we are at a point where we're waiting on the title for the F250 here. It still needs the body work done. It still needs some of the tag lights and stuff fixed. A horn button wired in, a whole bunch of little things that it still needs. But for time's sake, we are going to cut this video here and get this posted. So we really like the truck. It is a piece of junk and we love it. We don't really know what to do with it because we already have the Suburban as our channel utility vehicle. We are using this for firewood and stuff we have already. It works really well for, you know, basic utility stuff, but we don't necessarily need it. What do you guys think we should do with it? Should we just sell it, try to make a few dollars off of it? Should we restore it little by little? Seems a little too far gone to me for that, but you guys let us know what we should do with it.
And as always, guys, we won't stop making poor decisions like this because we can't stop.
Won't stop.